at 1025 Elysian Park Drive. And that's a look at some things to do. Well, that's going to do it for this edition. I'm Yana Kane from all of us here at LA This Week. Thanks for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacityview.org. You can also follow and like us on Facebook. We'll see you back here next week for more of LA This Week.
Ever notice how we no longer focus our attention on one thing at a time? We don't just walk or even just drive. We focus on so many different objects we don't notice the dangers ahead of us. We're a distracted society. We're blind to the importance of being safe, to the things that really matter. Blind to the things that could actually save our life. We're blind to everything surrounding us. Be aware, move with care, watch the road.
Need a recycling center? Call 311, the toll-free number for non-emergency services. 311, your one call to City Hall.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I want to welcome everyone to City Hall. Today is Wednesday the 7th. If you have a seat, sit in it. If you don't, try to find one. Mr. Clerk, we have a quorum. Would you please call the roll?
Blumenfield, Bonner, Buscaino, Cedillo, Engler, Harris, Dawson, Weezer, Carrasco, Corin, Martinez, O'Farrell, Price, Rodriguez, Rue, Wesson. 13 members present and a quorum, Mr. President.
Thank you. First order of business.
Approval of the minutes.
Mr. Harris Dawson moves. Mr. Price seconds. Continue.
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
Okay, Mr. Price moves and Mr. Harris Dawson seconds. That brings us where?
Mr. President, the Department of Building and Safety recommends that Council reduce the lien amount for item 1A to $8,757.60 due to receipt of partial payment, to continue items 1H, 1L, and 1I to March 9th, and to receive and file item 1N inasmuch as the lien has been paid in full. Further, there's a request to continue item 20 to February 9th, sir.
Okay, so without objection, so ordered. Continue.
Mr. President, items 1 through 3 are items noticed for public hearing.
You have cards on these items?
Yes, sir, cards on all items.
Okay, let's continue.
Items 4 through 22 are items for which public hearings have been held. Committee reports for items 14, 19, and 20 have been posted and circulated for Council's consideration. Item 21 should be held on the desk until such time as the Rules, Elections, and Intergovernmental Relations Committee report is submitted and circulated.
Okay, so let's hold that item. And Mr. Bonin and Child.
Item 4, special, please.
Okay, hold item 4. Mr. Root. 17 and 22. Let's hold those items. Prepare to vote on the remaining items. Let's open the roll. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Continue, Mr. Clerk.
Items 23 through 34 are items for which public hearings have not been held. 10 votes are required for consideration.
Okay, so without objection, those items are now before this body. Continue.
Mr. President, we have cards on all items in that section.
Okay, continue.
Very good, sir. That brings us to items 35 and 36. They're items scheduled for closed session. Would you like to hold them on the desk?
Yeah, I think that'd be appropriate at this time, so let's just keep moving through.
Very good, sir. That brings council to presentations or items called special.
All right. Well, just let me say, I want to welcome everybody to your City Hall today. Give yourselves a round of applause. Now, many of you may have known that before the mayor became the mayor, that he sat in this chair as the president of the Los Angeles City Council. He is now sitting next to me to make sure that I do everything right. He got that itch again. But you want to switch places? We could work that out. Anyway, so today is a special day. This council began a month-long celebration yesterday where it relates to Black History Month. Today, we're having a special program that's going to be headed up by the mayor. And so at this point, I want to ask our mayor to make his way to the center aisle and the podium, and we will begin our program. Let me say this, Mr. Mayor, before you start. Mr. Herman and I think that's you, Mr. Julius. Let's just relax during this presentation. I will call you when it's your time to speak. This is not your time, so I don't want you popping up and down in the audience and disrupting the people that are here. So that's your last warning. If I have to say it again, I will have you removed. Mr. Mayor, ladies and gentlemen, the great mayor from the greatest city on the planet, Eric Garcetti.
Thank you very much.
Let's give him a round of applause.
Thank you.
Let's give us a round of applause. We are LA.
Thank you. Oh, settle down, settle down. Thank you very much, President Wesson. It is always an honor to come back to these august chambers, this temple of democracy, as you can see behind me, in front of me, a place made famous by the moments that we have marked and the moments we have made. And this is one of those today. It is great to be here today with our fellow elected officials. You'll hear for a moment from our two other citywide elected officials, all of our guests, and our honorees, who we are so touched have taken time out of their busy lives to be here. I hope many of you in the public and folks who work here at City Hall were able to go across the sky bridge between City Hall East and City Hall today. With African American Heritage Month, we have celebrated on that sky bridge the connections of our past and our future. In some ways, that bridge is our present. It has quotations from historical figures who lived here in Los Angeles and around the country, who struggled for the dignity of their lives and those who came before them, and who reached for the promise of everybody's inclusion in the American dream. We have the story of African American journalists, writers, thinkers who dedicated themselves to sharing the African American experience with the entire world. Black history is our history. We're reminded of that every single day. This in a city that was founded by a majority of individuals who traced their ancestry back to Africa. Yes, indeed, of those 42 pobladores, more than 25 of them had African blood. We see in this city, which went through being Spanish and Mexican, and for a moment, the independent Republic of California, just putting that out there for an idea, and then America again, we saw the work that we have done to make sure that the ideals that we spout are practiced closer and closer to every single day. And I'm reminded, as your mayor, of one of our greatest leaders and the greatest mayor this city has ever had, who is celebrating the 100th anniversary of his birth. We are collectively Mayor Tom Bradley. A man who made history, a man who built our international terminal, a man who brought the Olympics back here, a man who presided over some of the most important moments in this city's emergence as a great global city. And he taught us to come together when we had to. I remember Tom Bradley speaking at my high school, and I remember coming with that high school for the first time to these chambers. It was actually the only time I had been here prior to being elected. And I remember the feeling that Tom Bradley gave us of a city of inclusion, a city of excellence, but also a city that was proud of its black roots, something we could all celebrate throughout this nation. And that shadow of excellence still looms large, reminding all of us that we have the power to improve people's lives through what we mark and what we make. We saw that story before Tom Bradley in the legacy of Pio Pico, an Afro-Mexican governor of the state of California, who himself was mixed with Native, European, and African blood, who led this not only city, but this state. And of course, Pico Boulevard is named after him. He saw us grow from a dusty pueblo to a bustling city. And part of that growth was driven by the influx of people who came from all around the world. People like the freed slave Biddy Mason, who came here. At this moment when we have a Me Too and Time's Up moment, we must, this year in particular, celebrate the stories of African American women who are too often forgotten and written out. Her legacy lives on to this day. She came here to Los Angeles in the 1870s, became a millionaire as a freed slave, helped found First AME Church, and she once said, got some First AME fans in the house, and Ward AME fans right there. Biddy once said that if you hold your hand closed, nothing good can come in. But the open hand is blessed, for it gives in abundance, even as it receives. Those words are on our sky bridge right now. That quote reminds us that a clenched fist, especially these days, may grab the headlines, but an open hand will forever change the world. We need to be reminded of this every month and at every turn. Of those who have come before us, I celebrated my birthday on Sunday. I'm proud to share with Rosa Parks, and my wife and I celebrate with young people who come from LAUSD, girls who are able to celebrate Susan B. Anthony and Rosa Parks' contributions, while we have the men who are President's Weekend. We make sure they know about the women and what Rosa Parks did, Rosa Parks who came to these chambers when I was a council member. Every time we are confronted by hatred and cruelty, every moment we have the opportunity to reach out and change a life, that is the Angelina way. And it is the lesson of African American Heritage Month. That is my prayer today and every day. And with that, let me turn it over to a great city attorney, committed public servant, also an alum of these august chambers, our city attorney, Mike Feuer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Mr. President, members of the City Council. It is a real honor to be here again to celebrate African American Heritage Month. I note that the mayor referred to Tom Bradley, and I have to pause for a second myself to recall that my first role in public service was to be in charge of issues and research when Mayor Bradley sought to become the first African American governor in the history of California. It was a bold campaign and a very important moment. And while he didn't win, one of the things that Mayor Bradley always stood for was resilience and standing up in tough times and standing up for everyone in our city, recognizing how much stronger we are when we look to each other as a source of strength and we look to each other with mutual respect. He infused City Hall with the diversity that has been the hallmark of this building ever since, and it was a real privilege in my life to be associated with him and a privilege to be here. I am very pleased to be able to congratulate our honorees this morning. I'm going to first refer to our honoree, Miss Dionne Warwick, just for a moment. She has sung the musical soundtrack to our lives, hasn't she? You know, I think it turns out Burt Bacharach, I did a little history research, heard you rehearsing with the Drifters in 1961, I think, right? And said that you had regal elegance. Well, that regal elegance has joined us here in City Council chambers today. And now you'll bear with me. Today, this Michael has a message for you. You're in City Hall. I know you're used to hearing promises. While you've been making lots of hits and we all sang along, you were with us last year when Johnny Mathis joined us. So this must feel a little bit like deja vu for you. It's also proof that you certainly know the way to City Hall. And while you have many admirers in this chambers, and there are many fans and friends all across this city who are here to celebrate with you, because, Ms. Warwick, after all, that's what friends are for. So, now, David Cunningham, I can't do that with you. I'm sorry. I've known you too long. We go back to the days before you were a famous guy. And I want to say, David, that you come from a tradition of public service. You were imbued at an early age with the importance of justice. And to see you serve in Los Angeles, both on the police commission and now as a judge, it's not only just a delight to see it, but you are, as all the honorees are today, a role model for generations yet to come. And it's an honor to call you my friend. Noel Massey. Noel, when we've sat down and talked, you've made very clear to me that for you, the business of business is more than making a profit. It's to be civically engaged and to recognize that we owe things to each other. And your role here in Los Angeles, in the region, and now nationally as a business leader is, of course, quite extraordinary. But I think even more important is your role in the philanthropic community and all you've done to make Los Angeles much better every day, and we honor that. I don't have a personal relationship with Lieutenant Colonel Jackson Kelly, but having read your background and your role in assuring that people who are grappling with substance abuse can rise above it and turn their lives around, your role in service for decades makes you also extraordinarily worthy of this honor. Thank you, each of you, for gracing these chambers today and for joining us as we celebrate a heritage that is both African American heritage, but as the mayor said, Los Angeles' heritage. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. City Attorney. Mr. President, let the record reflect that I believe it was last year that our City Controller had a speech based on the songs of Johnny Mathis. So it was you also? Oh, all right. I thought it was two of them. So this is a tradition of our City Attorney. It's kind of open mic elected official night up here. And thank you for the great comments. With that, I'd like to ask our City Controller, who is back on his feet, which we are pleased to see, Ron Galper, and talk about resilience. He's the embodiment of it, looking after every penny and always doing the people's business, our friend Ron Galperin. Good, man.
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Council President, to all of the City Council. I'm really honored to be here to commemorate African American Heritage Month. It's really to spotlight a history of overcoming obstacles, of accomplishment, of leadership, and today of amazing honorees and so many others who have enriched and continue to enrich our lives. I'm also humbled to serve as controller in a city that celebrates our diversity, our diverse history. In a time such as this, when there are those who would seek to deny or to worse, malign our national diversity, we gather to remember, to embrace, to celebrate, and to say thank you. And we are here to honor those who helped shape history. First of all, I wanted to call attention to Judge David Cunningham and all of the great work that you continue to do. I recall very much your dad, and his passing weighs upon us very much on this day. He was a champion in the council and of social justice. And I remember when I took office, he called me up and he wanted to offer his wisdom and his thoughts and his advice. And we sat down and he gave me so much good advice. I was the newbie at the time, had just come into office, and what a difference it made for me. And also I want to give congratulations to Lieutenant Colonel Patricia Jackson Kelly for all of your history of service. Noel Massey, not just for getting goods from point A to point B all over our nation, but for your work for the LA Chamber and so many other organizations. You really helped to immeasurably chart a course toward progress. And it's also a real treat to be in the presence of our music icon, a voice for the ages, Dionne Warwick. And our city attorney did a little bit of stealing of my thunder here, but here we go, okay? I don't know, we had the same idea here. With your incredible musical talents, you've raised millions of dollars for AIDS research, a disease that we know has disproportionately affected African American communities. We're indebted for your contributions, and we say a little prayer for you in gratitude. Your courage and compassion for education is a constant reminder that what the world needs now is. Meanwhile, your passion for public health with the Muhammad Ali Parkinson Center and many other organizations shows the difference one person can make, because that's what. And while it's been said that LA is a great big freeway, here's to wishing and a hoping that you and all our honorees continue your impactful and important contributions to our nation and our world for many years to come. Thank you and congratulations.
And Mr. Mayor, before you go back, with the program, maybe we should get Mr. Galperin and Mr. Fuhrer. Will do like we used to do at our old talent shows. We'll say, who thought that Mike was the best?
Let's do it right now.
And
Showtime at City Hall.
You know what? I don't know if we'd have a winner. But before you start, Mr. Mayor, we have some special guests that I want to acknowledge. We have the great vocalist Frida Payne with us. Give her a round of applause. Wave. Our own actress Beverly Todd.
Yeah.
And Academy Award winner, Lou Gossett. Yeah. Mr. Mayor, back to you.
Thank you. Mr. President, in a moment we'll unveil this year's African American Heritage Month calendar. And I want to thank our Department of Cultural Affairs, who has worked very hard to put together this calendar and cultural guide. I know a lot of people get excited about this day, but this is really the launch of a month of learning, celebrating, exploring LA. And I hope that Angelenos will avail themselves of all the opportunities that are happening across LA in commemoration of African American Heritage Month. Every year, the department does a call for artwork, and every year, emerging and established artists are featured in this incredible guide. And the events and artists reflect and celebrate our city's different cultural traditions. So don't just turn each page of the calendar. Take action. Don't just mark the moments, but make the moments. And with that, I'd like to ask council members who I think are going to join for the unveiling of this, and we will show you this year's beautiful artwork. As they're coming down, why don't we come forward, council members that are going to unveil with me.
Mr. Price, Mr. Harris Dawson.
Let me thank our corporate sponsors. You're put down as a corporate sponsor, but this Office of the City Controller, Ron Galperin, Union Bank, UPS, Department of Water and Power, Bureau of Sanitation, Passport to Learning, Southern California Gas Company, and Enterprise Rental Cars. And I want to thank Commissioner Mike Davis, who has worked and always worked so hard on this as well, for his great work, too. Let's come and unveil.
And let's give our sponsors a louder applause. We're going to need them again. Sponsors, thank you so very much. Thank you.
All right. And Councilmember Price, I think you're on. Go get those notes, and we'll go through the honorees now as well. We are so honored to have every year the brightest lights in this city come to be honored to share their stories. And some stories we know well. Some stories are ones that we might be learning for the first time. But each of these stories and their contributions to this nation and to this city are extraordinary. And I want to thank Councilmember Curran Price for co-emceeing, and I'm going to hand over the microphone to him. Councilmember Curran Price.
Give Curran a round of applause. Mr. Price.
Thank you, Mayor. We appreciate your comments and your support, of course, for our program today. You know, this is a time for celebration and rededication. Celebration and rededication. And I think all of our honorees certainly exemplify that. I'm honored to begin the celebration of this year's African American Month celebration. Many of you may be familiar with our first honoree. She's Lieutenant Colonel Patricia Jackson Kelly. Let's give it up. She's a veteran of the United States Air Force and a veteran of the Air Force, Army, and Navy Reserve. She retired with the rank of Lieutenant Colonel after 26 years of combined active duty and reserve service. She served as program manager on numerous institutions and boards, including the Foundation for American Warriors, for Women Warriors, the National Association of Black Military Women, and is a LA County Commissioner for Women for Military and Veteran Affairs. And she is an active participant in community events wherever she is called upon. She's dedicated much of her life to making sure that women and veterans have all the resources they need to live their lives. She is this year's recipient of the Hall of Fame Award for Outstanding Achievement in the Military. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Lieutenant Colonel Patricia Jackson Kelly.
Welcome. Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It is indeed an honor, as well as a privilege to accept this honor and to share the stage with these other wonderful honorees. Thank you so much. I'm humbled by the experience, and I will continue working for veterans.
All right.
If I can jump in, I also want to acknowledge we have John Acosta, president of the Musicians Union, Local 47. Give him a round of applause. And our honorary chair, Ray Cherry, the vice president of Union Bank. Give Ray another round of applause. Mr. Mayor, back to you, sir.
And let me throw it over to Marquise Harris Dawson, who is one of the co-hosts of this event as well, for our next award. And thank you for everything you're doing for this city as well. Marquise Harris Dawson, Council District 8.
Good morning, everybody. It's so good to be here and so good to be a part of the city of Los Angeles. One of the things I love most about this city is that the history of each group is embraced as the history and the story of our city. And so we don't tell this group to go in a corner and celebrate their stuff and the other group to go in a corner and celebrate their stuff. We all do it here together, and we all show up, all of our council members and all of our citywide elected officials. So let's give the city of Los Angeles a big round of applause. It's my role this morning to introduce someone who's been a good friend, a mentor, and a leader that has helped push forward many of the important causes in our city. I'm happy today to present the manager of United States Operations for United Parcel Service, commonly known as UPS, Mr. Noel Massey.
Yeah.
Mr. Massey has broken so many barriers in the corporate community, rising to one of the highest levels at one of our most important companies anywhere in the entire world. But here in Los Angeles, Noel Massey became the first African American to head our city Chamber of Commerce, the Los Angeles Chamber of Commerce. He headed the board of the United Way of Greater Los Angeles. He now heads the board of one of the most important chapters of the Urban League anywhere in the United States, the Los Angeles Urban League. The work that we've done around homelessness, the work that we've done around workforce development, and the work that we've done to bring us to the point now where we have one of the highest graduation rates from LAUSD and some of our highest test scores that we've recorded anywhere in our history is largely because of the work that Mr. Massey pushed forward during his time on those boards here in Los Angeles. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big City Hall welcome to our own Noel Massey.
First, I'd like to thank the Author Study Club. They do great work.
Let's give them a round of applause.
Let's recognize their passion. I'd like to thank certainly this great body of government, this city council, and this mayor. You know, I've had experience, as was mentioned, for UPS all over the United States. I've been with the organization for 40 years. I've been a president over 20 of those. This is a great city, and it's real. And I've seen a lot of cities. There's going to be issues, there's going to be problems, but beyond that, you have to have leadership. And Marquise talked about barriers. The reason you have them is to break them down. This city does an amazing job, from the business community with the chamber, to the philanthropic community, to the social community. And UPS, as an organization, is absolutely engaged in all of it. We believe in Los Angeles. We're committed to Los Angeles. It was a privilege for me when I was here as the president to be able to engage with this leadership body. And as you mentioned, a couple of years ago, I was promoted to president, U.S. Operations. in Atlanta. But when I do social work, when I do community and civic work, I fly back here. So having said that, thanks again for the privilege. I appreciate it.
We won't tell Atlanta, don't worry. Yeah, we'll take a picture all together.
Well deserved, Noel. Well deserved.
Congratulations, man. Really great and powerful words.
Let's give it up again for Noel Massey.
Right.
Mr. President, members, it's an honor for me to introduce this year's recipient of the Hall of Fame Award for Outstanding Achievement in Law. He's the son of the late LA City Council member David S. Cunningham, Jr. However, he has become an outstanding jurist in his own right. Our honoree, the Honorable Dave Cunningham III. Your Honor.
Yeah.
Judge Cunningham currently serves as judge in the LA Superior Court, former president of the LA Board of Police Commissioners, where he worked tirelessly to improve the department's policy and community relations. Judge Cunningham spent many years working for the Justice Department's Civil Rights Division before he moved to the private sector, where he specialized in redevelopment and eminent domain cases. I hold him in high regard due to his steadfast commitment to civil rights, his unwavering commitment to ensuring the legal system works for all, and in addition to his role on the court, he's also in the community, a man who's accessible and who is a very positive role model. Ladies and gentlemen, let me present the Honorable Judge Cunningham III, our honoree for legal services.
Welcome, Your Honor.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate this opportunity, and I thank this body for honoring me in this way and for those that selected me. I remember the first time that I came into this chambers was in September of 1973. My father opened the door for this city, and I can tell you my experience here has been just extraordinary. This is a city that when it sees a wrong, it tries to right it. This is a city that when it sees people hungry, it goes out to feed them. This is a city that when it sees homeless people, it tries to build. I love a part of this city, and as long as I'm here to serve. Thank you so much.
Bless you, Judge.
Thank you, Judge Cunningham. And I wanted to say also, I know it's been mentioned, but your father served our city with such passion and dedication, and I know is so deeply missed. But I know this is one of the places he comes back to, and he is in these chambers with us. He's been a mentor to so many of us, and to have the honor to be able to have served with you and your service to the city. Really, this is your home too, so congratulations. We have now arrived at today's Living Legend Award. You know, there's only a few people in the world you can just say one name and you know who they are. And this was long before musicians were giving themselves just one name. Where others saw obstacles, Dionne Warwick always saw opportunity. She bridged the gap and has been, for all of us, a bridge to a soulful blend of pop, gospel, R&B that has transcended every wall, and what a powerful message right now, every wall that was ever erected. She breaks down walls, she connects people, and most of all, she speaks to our heart. Not just in what she sings and how she sings it, but in who she is as well. She proved our ears were ready for new sounds, and she inspired a new generation of singers. If, as was mentioned, she was seen by Burt Bacharach with something regal, she's gone from being the princess of pop to the queen. She has, along the way, sold, oh, by the way, about 100 million records as well. Who has one of those in their collection, or two, or three, or four? But as I said, this is a town that doesn't judge its success by those metrics, by those statistics. We judge them by their stories. And I know that you don't measure success by your sales, but by what you can give and what you can teach, what you can share and what you can contribute to society. What motivated you to spend your offstage time working in the community? What led you to become the first U.S. Ambassador of Health? Your work with the United Nations, your work to save lives and to end diseases, to give of yourself when I know what I'm sure your career's demands were professionally, but to never let that get in the way of showing the way as a human being as well. And that's why today, there was no question who we were going to honor this year as our Living Legend Award. Please give it up for the one, the only living legend, Dionne Warwick.
Thank you. Oh, thank you so very, 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 very much. First, as I always do before I say anything, I give honor to God. I must say that I'm not a speaker. I sing for a living. So everything I'm going to say to you at this point in time will be coming from here, from my heart. I first want to say congratulations to the other recipients of this honor today. I think not only are they well-deserving, but it's the way it should be. I want to also say that I was here last year when John, one of my dearest friends, was honored in this manner, and well-deserved as well. You know, there are times when words are kind of easy. At this point in time, I am overwhelmed.
All right.
I really, really, truly am. I do appreciate you considering me for this particular award, and will cherish it for the rest of my life, and also it will find a prominent place in my home. And as well, remember, keep smiling, keep shining, knowing you can always count on me. For sure. Why? That's what friends are for. Thank you.
You did much better than the other two guys. Congratulations. Come on, one more round of applause for our living legend, Dionne Warwick.
Mr. Mayor, you should just know I have extra security by Mr. Buscaino to ensure that he doesn't break out in song.
Yes,
so we are all safe. All right, back to you.
I'd like to now introduce the Author Study Club president. And the Author Study Club has been here since the beginning of these commemorations in 1950 with Mayor Polson. It's gone from a day and a week to a month and what really is a year of celebration of our African American heritage. Everything good? All right. Just
We're
a
good.
coffee cup.
We're good.
All right. And Ernestine has been president of the club for 7 years, helping to shine a spotlight on the contributions African Americans have made in our city and beyond through our society. And we wanted to say thank you to Ernestine for her tireless work and hand over the microphone to her. Ernestine. All yours.
Good morning.
Good morning.
As everyone, I'm overwhelmed, even though we've been here a long time. One of our our organization was started 100 years ago by Carter G. Woodson, because our black history was not being published. We wanted it to be written. We wanted it to be remembered. And so as I look around and I see in the news and in the City Hall how we are commemorating the strengths, the talents, the struggles of our African Americans, I am so pleased that our mission continues on today, and that is to research, study, and to disseminate black history. And so everybody talks about barriers, and yes, we had barriers, and people talk about perseverance, and yes, a lot of people have perseverance, and we talk about determination, and yes, there's determination. But for blacks in particular, it's very difficult to do it when you got a foot on your back. So I stand here very inspired by the achievements of African Americans, their contributions that they have made. I was here yesterday, and I want to say that Council President Wesson, I congratulate you and your staff, Mr. Albert Lord, for the exhibit, the bridge exhibit, Right in America. I do encourage you to look at, to take a walk down that, down the bridge. And last year, again, that walking tour in City Hall, that was astounding. It is a teaching moment, and it's a teaching moment so that we won't say that I'm better than you or you're better than me, but that we need to embrace the differences and respect and appreciate those differences. We're more alike than different. And I just really appreciate, and I am so enthusiastic and overwhelmed by the overwhelming involvement of all races that are here in this council right now. I thank Mayor Garcetti and his predecessors for continuing on. If you think about it, that was back in the 1950, a little short black woman said to one of the larger cities at that time, "We want you to celebrate Black History Week with us." And can you imagine, think about Los Angeles at that time. They said, okay. So, I mean, that shows you the mentality or the thinking of the city of Los Angeles, and it makes me proud. I'm planted here from the Midwest, and so I'm very proud of being a part of a city of angels. And so everybody has their issues and problems, cities do, but it is a pleasure and it is a privilege, and I'd like to ask if you will indulge me just a second for the Arthur Study Club members to please stand or raise your hand at this time. And let me just say, I want to congratulate Dionne Warwick. Yes, I grew up on that. I'm pretty old, honey. And so, and brother, I say brother, but it's Judge Cunningham. I know it's, I know, yeah, I know, yes. And I didn't say the theme, but our theme is African Americans in times of war. So I want to congratulate Lieutenant Colonel Kelly and, of course, Mr. Massey. It's really important for us to all work together. We're better. We are all better when we work together. And the one thing that we need to do is to listen to other people's opinions or ideas so we can come together and come to a really good conclusion. God bless you, and thank you so much.
Well said, Ms. Gordon, well said.
I lastly just want to thank those that serve this city. Charmaine Jefferson, who's the president of our Cultural Affairs Commission, and all the commissioners that are here as well. All of our staff and leaders who are African-American leaders in our city, from Phil Washington, who leads our metro system, to at the airport, where the first African-American woman second African-American woman actually, to lead the airport, is now presiding over the biggest construction program in the United States of America. Like I said, let's not just mark history, let's make history. Let's look where we have the shortcomings, whether it's in life expectancy, the disproportionate number of African Americans who are homeless, in prison. Our work is not just to look at what we've done, but what we have left to do, and that's what makes this month special. So let's go do it. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Thank everybody for coming. We will be having a series of presentations throughout the month honoring people who've done phenomenal things, so please keep an eye on us. Let's one more time, everybody, a round of applause for African American Heritage Month. Let us congratulate us.
Okay, have a seat. You are with who? Okay. Yeah, go on this way.
Mr. Kokorian, where relates to closed session items.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Items 35, 36, 37, 38, and 39 are all routine settlements that have been considered by Budget and Finance. Budget and Finance recommends approval of the settlements
Okay,
unless
it's my
members have
understanding we
questions
can
or
only
concerns.
we do what 35 and 36, then we'll go to the special meeting. So
Okay.
why don't, unless there are questions,
So
let's
35
handle
and 36 can be
35
dealt
and
with in open
36.
session. Yes, sir.
Let's open the roll.
And Mr. President, I'm sorry if I may.
Oh,
For
my-
item
I'm
35 in
sorry.
the case entitled Zephyrina Rodriguez and Juan Rodriguez versus City of Los Angeles et al., there is a recommendation to expend up to $2.5 million in settlement. And for item 36 in the case entitled Dolores Lusitana versus City of Los Angeles et al., there is a recommendation to expend $125,000 in settlement.
Okay, on those items, let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
Let's recess and go into the special.
Very good, sir. Blumenfield, Bonner, Scano, Cedillo, Engler, Harris, Dawson, Weezer, Kretz, Corin, Martinez, O'Farrell, Price, Rodriguez, Rue, Wesson, 14 members present, sir. That brings us to items 37, 38, and 39. They're items scheduled for closed session.
So that brings us back to Mr. Kokorian.
Thank you, Mr. President. Likewise, each of those matters is a routine settlement that has been considered by Budget and Finance. We recommend approval of the City Attorney's recommendations. That can be done in open session.
Okay, there are no questions on those items. Let's open the roll. Oh, no, I'm sorry, Mr. City Attorney.
For item 37, in the case entitled Jose Avendano versus City of Los Angeles et al., there is a recommendation to expend $150,000 in settlement. For item 38, in the case entitled Nancy Pittenger Lynch versus City of Los Angeles et al., there's a recommendation to expend $500,000 in settlement. And for item 39, in the case entitled Mario Granados versus City of Los Angeles, there is a recommendation to expend $650,000 in settlement.
Okay, on those items, let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate.
14 ayes.
Okay, we've handled everything in the special meeting, so let's adjourn the special and return to the regular.
Very good, sir.
To Mr. Bonin? Yes. So that's item 4.
Thank you, colleagues. This is a mayoral appointment to the Board of Recreation and Parks Commissioners. Was approved unanimously by the Arts Parks Committee. It is Mr. Joseph Halper of Pacific Palisades. Joe, stand up. Joe has been serving for close to a decade on the West LA Area Planning Commission, but his real love, his real passion, the thing he has wanted to do as long as I have known him, for about 14 years now, has been to serve on the Recreation and Parks Commission. And so I'm very excited that Mayor Garcetti has appointed him to serve on that commission. He has a background serving on Recreation and Parks on the East Coast. He's a veteran. He's an incredibly distinguished community leader. He's here with his family today, and I just wanted to congratulate him and wholeheartedly recommend an enthusiastic and unanimous approval today.
In fact, you know what, Michael, why don't we have him come up and
Yeah.
just, his family and everyone's here. If somebody could pull up a chair.
Yes, if that's all right, Mr. President. I would like to recognize the fact that I have my wonderful wife with me, two of my sons who are currently on private on boards serving youth serving boards, nonprofits. I also have my grandson Matt. I also see my daughter-in-law Kelly, and I see one of them, or there were two of them, my former colleagues on the West LA Area Planning Commission here, Lisa Walsh-Morocco. Ms. Margolis, our chair, was here a few minutes ago and had to leave. But I'm deeply honored to have the mayor's appointment as a commissioner in this nationally recognized organization. As a former professional in the recreation and parks field, I'm wholly supportive of the mission statement of the current commission and the general manager. It will be my hope to focus on the current needs as well as the planning for the future adequacy of the department's infrastructure, programs, and personnel in an age of robotics and automation. My early approach will be to learn the current priorities and visions of the diverse communities of the city by visiting with the local community recreation and parks committees, the volunteer organizations that support the sports and cultural and environmental constituencies, as a way of establishing my own priorities for work on the new board. And also with the city councils, if they'll, members, if they'll be interested in hearing. Thank you very much for your words, Mike, and thank you for your consideration.
Joe, in addition to his family, was joined by at least a couple members of his community. Mariam Zar, the president of the Pacific Palisades Community Council.
Here.
Also a member of the Commission on the Status of Women. And I believe I saw Erica Farrestron,
yes, our
president
recently
of the Palisades Democratic Club.
President of Democratic Club. Yeah, I appreciate all their support, and I look forward to your approval. Thank you.
Wait, well, don't go anywhere yet.
Okay.
We haven't even voted yet. But we also have Mr. Koretz on the queue.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to add, I think this is a great appointment. We've served together on some Democratic Party bodies over the years. I know you're a very capable community activist, very qualified for this position, and just a hell of a nice guy, too. So I think you'll be a perfect appointment for this commission, and I'm glad to see you here.
Thank you, Councilman Koretz.
Great, thank you very much. So with that, Mr. Rue.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I know our chair of the Arts, Parks, and Rivers is not here, is I think in the back. But I just wanted to say we heard your confirmation in our committee, and I have to say your qualifications is more than stellar. I think you could be running the department itself with all your years of experience, but just wanted to thank you again for your service, and we look forward to working with you on the commission. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
I wanted to say one thing.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. And with that, colleagues, we'll go ahead and open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Confirmed. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations. Okay, let's go ahead and take item 21 now.
And Mr. President, the Rules, Elections, and Intergovernmental Relations Committee report has been posted and circulated for Council's consideration.
Great. Okay, so we'll go ahead and open the roll on that item, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
That is approved. And we're going to go into multiple speaker cards now. Eric Previn. Items 1, 29, 31, 32, and 34.
Thank you. It's Eric Previn from CD2. No, take your time. No, take your time.
You can continue to talk.
Right. Well, it's a little distracting because they're right
continue
in
to
front.
talk.
It's okay, sir.
That's right.
Listen, I appreciate your pushing through the trip to Arizona for the Commanders, so well done. Item number 29 is Criminal Minds. This is Mandy Patinkin, who's a great actor, a man who we have respected across the spectrum, theater, movies, television, and you're honoring him for his work, including Criminal Minds, sir. And we really do appreciate it. And I suspect that the Commanders down in Arizona will have a good outing looking for that sort of thing. Now, sir, there's a number of items in which you're identifying billboard fees for the cost to upgrade single side to double side in some cases near Highland. It's outstanding. These are your companies, though. Clear Channel and Lamar, the ones who donate to you, sir. So you should put it on the agenda where we can speak on it.
And I believe that's not an agenda item.
Right,
Mr.
right.
President.
That's
Okay,
correct.
so if you don't follow the agenda items again,
I'm
then
trying,
we'll go
sir.
ahead and
Item
go right
20.
into general public comment.
The closed session items are on the agenda, and those are in the 30s. And I have a lot to say about it. In particular, I'm very titillated.
But the closed
by
session items, Mr. President, were already had the hearing in committee and had
That's
been
right.
voted on.
So go ahead and start as 1 minute for general
Well, what about?
public
No, hold on.
comment.
I'll go
Please
to the
start as
other
1
items.
minute for
That's a
general public
dispute.
comment.
You're all talking
Thank you.
during my time. This is my general comment?
Yes, it is.
Well, then I will simply say how disappointed I am that you have truncated my speaking time on a giant agenda with lots of materials on it, and you're just playing a game. So I don't know why you would do that, especially knowing what we both know, which is that you are presiding over unfair competition, which your uncle, who is Harvey Englander, takes tremendous lobbying fees from the likes of Motorola and other companies, and then you push things through in secret meetings where you, not secret, but barely agendized, where the public comes to speak, and you frequently throw people out when they're trying to criticize your malfeasance. So I find that abhorrent. And quite frankly, I think your canoodling with Ted Ross of ITA is completely inappropriate, especially since that man is frequently reducing speakers like myself and others, more importantly others, to an unrecognizable form, which is in violation of your own Council Rule 93. And when the mayor stands here and says that here we are in the temple of democracy, we have to ask, how does this microphone make us all equal, sir?
Okay, thank you very much. Bill Watkins, general public comment, followed by Brian Barajas, followed by Matthew View.
Morning. Thank you, and happy Black History Month. I really appreciate the ceremony you guys just put on. Thank you for that. So throughout the day and weeks and months, you'll see Clean LA proposal, Ms. Martinez. It will come through some of your committees. I'm a pretty decently educated, formerly homeless person, alcoholic, almost 16 years sober. I have this interesting look at Los Angeles from the sidewalks. I love walking. If you gave me a Porsche today, I would say no thank you. I just love walking. And when you do, I think you guys would realize our gutters and our sidewalks and our storm drains are pretty bad, just generally. I know Ms. Martinez and others have looked into fixing this, maybe using homeless people who could help work the sidewalks. I have real good proposals, I think, for that. I look forward to giving you guys those things through the course of today. And thanks for all of your service. I came back from Montana. I thought I was going to move away, but I've come back to help. God bless. Thank you.
Okay, I turned in a leaflet from LaRouche PAC. The British have shown their hand. In terms of the text messages between Lisa Page and Peter Strzok, it has become clear in the text messages these are FBI agents or former FBI agents or not so, but they reveal the fact that Obama had a hand in the illegal wiretaps of the Trump campaign. So what that means now is implications is top down. It is not just Obama. It is a British operation to destroy the United States. Now, Linda LaRouche has been a victim of that British Empire. And the empire that we're trying to destroy is no other than Wall Street financial oligarchs, which FDR dealt with the Glass-Steagall Act. We need to re-implement LaRouche's 4 laws.
Claudia Aguilar. Claudia Aguilera. I apologize.
Good morning. My name is Claudia. I work at Hyatt Regency LAX as a room attendant. And the reason why I'm here is to ask you to protect affordable housing. When you guys passed this policy in June 2015, we have lost 4,759 units. Every day we lost 4.9 units. Every month we lose 147 units. As a single mother, I'm really worried how I'm going to provide the needs for my family. So I'm asking you to protect community workers and families that are suffering this horrible crisis. Protect affordable housings.
Okay, Matt.
Cool. Good morning, council members. My name is Matthew Vu, and I'm a member of the LA Fairbnb Coalition, which stands to protect affordable housing. I live, work, and organize in my community of South Central, and during my time canvassing neighborhoods and phone banking, I can say with 100% certainty that the community is anxious and frustrated about the deterioration of affordable housing, the dramatic rise in rent, and lack of public safety. Because of this, I have worked with others registering, educating, and mobilizing voters to move policies that would address those issues. And as a result, South Central was crucial in passing Propositions Triple J, Triple H, and County Measure Measure H. However, those measures only regulate and promote responsible development moving forward. They do not protect current affordable housing stock, and needless to say, they do not mitigate displacement happening because of the current pre-Olympic preparations. Since this policy's introduction in June 2015, as my colleague just said, and council's inaction, we've lost nearly 4,700 units.
Right, thank you
so
very
I implore
much.
y'all
Thank you.
to do
Next
something about
speaker,
Airbnb.
Thank you. The next speaker, Herman. Come on up. John Walsh. Come on up, John.
Hail, my Lord. So as you know, general public comment is not just a First Amendment, but rather it's an expression of our tone. You see, this morning while I was in public safety, the lead man there had me removed because of his big ears, short sleeves, and his bald little runty
Okay, you're not
head.
referring to any matters under the purview of this committee.
And the preview
So,
of
you're gonna
the
forfeit your time if you continue it.
disabled who viciously come to City Hall to speak about the homeless crisis and why a dibble dwarf little dick continues to remove them from public
Okay,
meetings.
again, you're not under items under the stick to the
ADA
purview.
504 Rehabilitation Act and 42 U.S.C. 1983 and 42 U.S.C. 12101, I have the ability to say, fuck you,
Okay,
Englander.
let's put his right, stay right there. Go ahead and continue on your items for multiple speaker cards as well. Items 1, 2, 3, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, and 34.
As we brought to your attention in the past, whether you're African American or minority living in an area targeted by liens, if you come here and protest, if you stand right here and suggest that they waive, remove all the 300% fees against you, you simply pay your lien and it goes away. But if you're convinced by them telling you to come back at a later time, then they fuck you. And then when I go to item number 2, Mr. City Attorney, fucking communication from the fucking city engineer for the fucking relative fucking offer, fucking dedicated easement for a storm drain and a right-of-way. What the fuck does that have to do with accept the petitioner's offer? Nothing. Fuck you. 42 USC 1983. And then I go to the back, the very back of all this mess.
Excuse me. There's no clapping or
He
disrupting the
can
meeting.
clap. Let the man clap. It's a free fucking
Okay, you're not on the
country.
subject matter. You're going to
So
forfeit
on
your
the
time.
issue
Your final
here,
warning.
referring to conditions of sidewalks, another trip and fall. Why are we having trip and falls in
And
the city
Mr.
of
President,
Los
that's a
Angeles?
closed session item that we
Yeah,
already
and it
voted on.
So your time is up. We've
So
already
then
told you, and
on
I
the
read
other
your time
issue-
is up. I read you which items you were going to speak on. Okay, Mr. Walsh, it's your time now. Please start Mr. Walsh's clock. Please escort Mr. Herman out. You're disrupting the meeting. You know the rules. He's still disrupting this meeting. Sergeants, please escort him out. Clearly can't find his way out. He's continued to disrupt this meeting. Okay. Please help him out. Please help him out. Thank you. Thank you.
And just for the record, Mr. Herman is disrupting the meeting,
Well, he's not
shouting
just disrupting
racial
the meeting.
epithets as he goes.
He's also yelling hate speech in a very threatening manner. So please remove him. Oh.
And just in case the mics aren't picking it up, he's still disrupting the meeting as he's escorted out. And he's walking backwards, obviously, to slow things down.
And please, if we can ask the city attorney to update us on the county's most recent motion to update the. Anyway, all right, Mr. Walsh, 3 minutes.
What items am I supposed to speak on? What items?
The ones you filled out cards for, Mr. Walsh. You filled them out on every single item that is open for general public comment.
Okay, every single item?
The ones for general public comment. This thing's no.
Okay, building and safety, you do a good job. Storm drains, you do a lousy job. Easement, La Tijera, southwest of Alvin, you do a lousy job there. Items which public hearings have been held, you can forget about that. And budget and finance relative to a refund claim by E-Entertainment. $341,000 you're handing over to E-Entertainment into their back pocket. That money will eventually go into the mayor for president campaign, the Garcetti campaign. I know that for a fact. Pictures of playground equipment. Housing and relative to the extension of the contract between the city and capital improvement. Most of this stuff is boring, but every once in a while there's a $2.5 million. That's a settlement that they just voted on. $2.5 million. Police department staff to attend the Internet Crimes Against Children. Well, who's going to be in charge of replacing the president of? Who's going to be in charge of replacing the police chief, or is he out with his girlfriend? Incidentally, why did the police chief just disappear? No one seems to give a shit up here about why the police chief just disappeared. But we know it had something to do with his penis.
You're not on items under this purview or under, so look, go ahead and start as 1 minute for general public comment.
Oh, you can't say penis? Look, the mayor.
1 minute for general public comment.
You just took 1 minute away from me. I'm telling you right now that the mayor of the city of Los Angeles is running for president of the United States. And that's the last thing we want is for the mayor of the city of Los Angeles. Come on down here. There's plenty of African-American food on the lawn. You can vote. That's what we should be doing right now. And these special council meetings, these are cases, a traffic collision involving a Los Angeles Police Department, $500,000 here, $100 million there. It begins to add up. The police can't drive cars.
Patricia McAllister, come on up.
Good morning, everyone. First of all, I want to talk about item 1, all of the liens on the homes. About 3,000 to 4,000 liens are put on every year, and I keep asking you guys to please lower that 250% penalty fee. I've seen people who were charged $500, for instance, to fix something in the home, and after all those fees, they have to pay $3,500, and that's why many of them are losing their homes. A lot of the people on the street lost their homes because of this city council. Now, 250% is called usury. Jews created the usury. It's unfair, and we should not be penalizing people with this bad economy and 4 million illegal aliens living in affordable housing, which is government-subsidized Section 8 housing. So we need to cut that 250% down to, say, 25%. We want to keep the people in their homes, not drive them out of their homes, okay? That's why we're going to have this revolution. See, you guys are not slick. Now, I want to talk about this write-off, these write-offs. The write-offs are about money that the city has put in the different accounts. And in here, we're talking about the reserve accounts. And then you're taking that money out by the millions. And then you're saying, oh, we can't pay it back, write it off. That's a slick way to steal, because I don't see any breakdown of where that money is going. And I went on the website under this item 13-1465. I don't see anything for the years 2006, 2007. I see 2015 and back. I want to know what was written off. See, I know about this write-off, and we need an investigation. President Trump, we need you to come to California. We have a state of emergency in California.
Mr.
Come here
President,
to look at these people laying on the street, President Trump.
Which is number 7.
We need you in California.
Okay, so let's go ahead and start your 1 minute for general public comment then.
My general comment, I'm going back to this write-off. I went on the website at this item number 7, and I saw billions of dollars where you guys are taking money and putting it into your departments, like the mayor, for instance. The mayor asked for $55,000, and then he said, now write it off. What did he do with the $55,000? It's a quick way for you all to put money in your pockets. If you borrow money from these reserve accounts, you're supposed to pay it back. You guys are not paying it back. You're taking millions. One department got $3 million, $5 million, and then you say, you write a letter to the mayor, because the mayor has to sign it off. I did the research. And you say, Mayor, we can't pay this money back. Can you write it off? You're not writing off any homeowners' debts. That's a quick way to steal money. See, you smiling, city attorney. I'm a researcher also. I'm a teacher. I'm Patricia McAllister. I'm a teacher. And I'm a civil rights activist to run these 4 million illegal aliens out of Section 8 housing and pick the Americans off the street, the blacks and whites off the streets and the tents, and put them back into affordable housing.
Okay, Mr. Winner. Is there a Mr. Winner no longer here? Okay, we'll go ahead and remove that card. Dwayne Getter. No longer here. Martha Jimenez. Is Martha still here? No longer here. Melissa. Followed by Nick Gerber.
Hi, everybody. How are you doing today? Thank you for your time. I want to make sure that yesterday after my meeting, I went down to the building and safety office to go report another instance of me not having an address. And they said, I'm sorry, ma'am, but I cannot take your complaint because you do not have an address. If you do not have an address, you cannot file a complaint with 311. What the hell is going wrong here? That really, really concerns me. You are turned down by 311. Initially, oh, I cannot take that. Let me transfer to you. Let me transfer to you. Let me transfer to somebody. If you have an APN number, they can't even take it on 311. They have to transfer it to somebody else and then transfer it to somebody else again. It's very concerning to me. Please, please, write a freaking memo. Write a memo to people running the front lines. We got to do something. People who are real estate owners need to be accountable.
Thank you. Next. Nick?
Good morning. My name is Nicholas Gerber, and I live in Mid-City, Los Angeles. I'm here this morning as a member of the LA for Airbnb Coalition, urging you again, Council, to pass the short-term rental ordinance. This is now the third time that I've spoken publicly to the Council on this matter. You originally introduced it June 2nd of 2015. You all know that we're in a gigantic affordable housing crisis in the city, but due to the inaction of the Council, since June of 15, we've now lost 4,759 units. That's almost 5 units a day and almost 150 a month. I live, as I said, in Mid-City. I saw, starting in that summer of 15, a building that was purchased where most of the residents were evicted, mostly people of color, many of them veterans, disabled, many on Section 8. I checked this morning, a one-bedroom there now rents for $1,900, which is completely unaffordable. So you need to do something, and you can right away pass the short-term rental ordinance. So please do that. Thank you.
Julius, did you wish to speak? Come on up.
Me?
Yes.
Big dick? Call me. I bet you like the big dick up your ass.
Okay, 1 minute for general public comment.
Hey, dipshit, run this mic. You have no problem with people clapping when they're clapping for that corporate bullshit, do you, pussy? I love black people. You look so scared shitless, you know a storm of justice. Do you think anybody was believing that corporate bullshit? You're fucked, dude. You know you're fucked. You know me. You know what I know. You're fucked. Hey, how about letting the black children sleep in the park? Tents, food, showers, heaters. Pussy, children are more important than fucking parks. I'm done. Wait, one more important thing. Why did you murder Nicole Brown Simpson? The city of LA murdered Nicole Brown Simpson. You're fucking on the line for that, bitch.
Please, no applauding. Sandra? Sandra Jackson? No longer here. Ulysses? No longer here. Okay. So that concludes all of the public comment. Go ahead and close public comment. We'll go ahead and vote on the remaining items.
Mr. President, before doing so, there's been a request to refer items 17 and 22 to the ITGS committee.
Well, that'd be the order without objection.
And the Department of Building and Safety has recommended that items 1C, 1K, 1M, and 1O be continued to March 9th.
Okay, that'll be the order without objection.
Mr. President, at this time, would you like to take up the balance of item number 1?
Yes. We'll go ahead and open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
Approved. Next item, please.
That brings us to items 2 and 3.
Okay, we'll go ahead and open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
And lastly, that would bring us to items 23 through 34.
Okay, we'll go ahead and open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
$14 ayes.
Okay, we'll go ahead and post and refer motions. That clears the desk. Colleagues, do we have any announcements? Seeing none. Do we have any adjourned motions? Looking to my right. Seeing none. Looking to my left. Seeing none. That concludes this council meeting. We are adjourned. Be safe. Thank you.
People say they love the job. I really love my job. I've been with Princess Cruises almost 30 years. If you ever spend time with me, you'll probably come to realize that I live and breathe Princess Cruises. I came to Princess Cruises back in 1989 up the gangway of the Pacific Princess, the Love Boat, which was the most famous cruise ship at the time because of the TV show. Santa Clarita is where our corporate offices are stationed. It's about an hour away from the port of Los Angeles, which we call home. The amount of people that come through on cruise ships, it really is the heartbeat of the West Coast. The job that I do gives guests an experience that they would never normally have on land. My job as manager of Asia and regional programmings actually encompasses the world of Princess, truly bringing the destination on board through lots of varieties, from enriching activities to Broadway caliber shows to live music. We were the first cruise line to put a huge screen on the top deck known as Movies Under the Stars. Whether you're 5 or 105, there's something on board for everybody. I'm very fortunate that my family understand the cruise industry and entertainment. They're involved in it on a daily basis. I'm originally from Liverpool in the United Kingdom. Of course, it's the home of the Beatles, and I knew I wanted to sing from a child. I used to stand on the toilet with a toilet chain looking up to the light, singing. That was my spotlight, and I've never stopped performing, even behind a desk. Love exciting and new, come aboard, we're expecting you. The Love Boat soon will be making another run. Ciao for now.
In absorbing all those carbon emissions from these cars that are driving by, it basically equates to 26,000 miles of pollution that acre of trees is taking out, and we're breathing cleaner air. So one of the things we want to also let them know is that, you know, right now, you guys know that there's drought going on, right? So we want to conserve water. So a lot of people are saying to us, why are you planting trees? Why are we planting trees when we're supposed to be conserving water? What a lot of people don't know, what we have to share with them is, when you plant a tree, the tree actually helps to capture storm water. It also, when you water the tree to make sure that it survives and it grows healthy, that water is going down into our ground, and the roots of the tree are filtering that water and helping to raise our groundwater tables. And we take that water back out of the ground, and we actually use it. So over the life of a mature tree, it will actually help us to raise the groundwater table levels and provide more water for us to use. This map represents the trees that have already gone into the ground since this initiative, since the Million Trees LA initiative started in September of 2006. Each green dot represents a tree that has been either adopted by a private property homeowner that's planted it on their private property, and or street trees that the city of Los Angeles has planted in and around the city of Los Angeles. So when we talk about 1 million trees, sometimes people can't visualize what 1 million actually looks like. Well, this map helps us to see what we've already done. This map is representative of over 200,000 trees that have already been planted here in the city.
I got involved with Million Trees of LA through my fire program to educate the community on, how to plant a tree and how to care for it and how to beautify the environment, how to be able to provide more oxygen to the environment so that we can